every time there's a market downturn, people keep saying that they regret investing earlier, that they should have waited until now. Or even when there's a market upturn, people look back and say, oh wow, if only I would have invested then instead of starting right now, I would be much better off. Well, the truth is that no one knows what the market's going to do. Okay, no one can know for certain what the future holds. And if they did, then I can guarantee you they'd be very rich and they would have no worries. The point is that most of us can't tell the future, and therefore most of us should not worry about things that are beyond our control, like when the market fluctuates. For the most part, those are very well out of our control. Today we are going to talk about why you shouldn't worry about timing the market. But before you get started, do me a really quick favor and just hit that thumbs up. Give me a like on this YouTube video. I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out. So if you're not going to be trying to time the market, what should you be doing instead? Well, let me introduce you to a little concept called dollar cost averaging. And if you don't know what dollar cost averaging is, don't worry, it's not that complicated. It just sounds kind of fancy. Dollar cost averaging is where you invest a certain amount of money over a certain period of time. It usually means a fixed amount of money over certain intervals over a long period of time. Now, dollar cost averaging works very well with individual investors or most of us who work a regular job. That's because the way we get paid is usually on a monthly basis or a bi-monthly basis or sometimes even a weekly basis. And we can base our investing when we invest off of when we receive our money. So when we receive our money, i.e. we receive our paychecks, we invest a certain portion of that into the market. Whether the market is down, whether the market is up, we still invest and we keep investing because dollar cost averaging, it's a very useful tool for most people who get that regular income, who don't have a large lump sum amount of money and to invest. So dollar cost averaging fits very well for individual investors. And the primary benefit and reason why you would want to do dollar cost averaging instead of just saving up your money is, first off, when you're dollar cost averaging, you're going to get an average price of the market. So you're investing whether the market is up and whether the market is down. So over a long period of time, the amount of actual average price that you've paid for all those shares of stock, bonds, mutual funds, whatever you're investing in, it's going to be an average price. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle because it's going to average out the highs and average out the lows. And, especially if you're investing about the same amount of money each month. If you invest $1,000 per month and you're buying, when a share is $100 and you're investing at different times when it's $90 and $80 and $70 or whatever, you can average out all those prices and you're basically going to be getting a pretty decent price. Even though you weren't timing the market. You're simply just consistently investing. And it is one of the best options for most people, especially for individual investors who receive a regular income from their regular employment. And this strategy works exceptionally well with broad-based index funds, such as index funds that are tracking a market such as the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or what have you, or even just a total stock market index. The reason being that these index funds and these markets, they're going to change prices somewhat rather frequently. But if you are consistently investing, then you're going to get a pretty good average of all of the prices combined. And in most cases, from all the research that I've done, from all the books that I've read, this average price that you receive because you are dollar cost averaging is usually better than what the price that most people are going to get when they try and time the market. And that is because we as humans, we are very inefficient at timing the market. We are very bad at telling the future. We just aren't good at market timing. And that's natural, that's normal, because we cannot tell the future. We don't know what the future is going to hold, especially when it comes to our financial markets. So why try to time the market when instead you can get an average price of the market by consistently investing over the long term? Now here is one caveat to dollar cost averaging. I hope I said that word because I haven't used that word in a long time. Caveat. You get the point. There's one reason why you wouldn't want to dollar cost averaging in general and instead do a lump sum investing. If you come into contact with a large sum of money and you have a long time horizon before you need to use that money, i.e. you plan on using that money to invest for your retirement or for something else that is many years down the line, if you come into a lump sum such as an inheritance, maybe a large gift, or even a really large bonus at work or something like that, Typically, your best odds are to get that money invested right away, and that is known as lump sum investing. So instead of taking that large sum of money, let's say you inherited $100,000. Historically, you're going to get better returns on that money over the long term if you were to invest it all at once, rather than if you were to, say, invest $10,000 each month for 10 months. And that's because the stock market and the financial markets overall have a general upward trend. Most of the time, they are increasing rather than decreasing. But over the long term, lump sum investing came out on top compared to dollar cost averaging when you were considering a lump sum investment. Now, this is different from most individual investors because most of us do not receive large lump sums all at once. Most of us are getting paid in regular paychecks and basically set amounts every month or twice a month or something like that. Instead, if you were to receive a lump sum of money, it might be better for you to invest it all at once. And here's why. Vanguard, a very popular investment company, did a very in-depth study on this exact thing, where they compared dollar cost averaging to lump sum investing. And they actually did it across several markets, such as the US financial markets, Australia, and the UK. And of course, I'll put a link to that in the description below, their study. I'll put the PDF document down there. But anyway, what they found when it comes to the US market, and pretty much for all the markets that they studied, was that lump sum investing came out on top most of the time. In fact, the lump sum investment came out ahead 68% of the time in the United States when compared to dollar cost averaging. And of course, there's a lot more details that go into it, so if you want to check out that study, it's going to be in the link below. But what does this say for dollar cost averaging? It says that if you come into contact with a large amount of money, most likely you should invest it all at once if you have a long time horizon. And really what it boils down to is something even more important. It's to just start getting invested right now, as soon as possible. The sooner that you can invest your money for the long term, the better. When you wait, you lose out on opportunity most of the time. In this case, 68% of the time, what Vanguard found. So what it seems to be is the more time that you are invested, the better returns you're most likely going to get. So even if you are just receiving a regular paycheck, say twice a month, you should be investing that money at regular intervals as well, because the sooner that you have your money invested, the more likely you are to get better returns over the long term. That's why you should pretty much always be investing. That's why I believe that dollar cost averaging is the solution for most individual investors, myself included, and most likely for you if you're watching this. And let me know in the comments below what you think about dollar cost averaging. What is your investment strategy? Are you trying to time the market? Do you have a plan for that? Or do you follow dollar cost averaging? Let me know. And again, I'd really appreciate it if you could just like the video on YouTube. It really helps me out and it really motivates me to keep making these videos. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button because it really helps me out and I really want to help you out. I'm putting out new information on personal finance every single week and I think there is something in there that can definitely help you. I'm Zach from OnCashflow.com and I hope to see you next time.